Hi, Libran family, and welcome to our June 2021 talk reading. This. So, what do we got going on? Because this is a really powerful month. It is a month of deep review, deep self-honesty for everybody. For air signs, this is definitely going to be a powerful month of rejuvenation, recharge. You know, when I think about this Gemini season specifically, we have a Mercury retrograde all the way through June 22nd in Gemini. We have a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. Obviously, the sun's moving through Gemini. We have the North Node in Gemini. So we have a ton of energy moving through your fellow air sign of Gemini. And this gives this month this very philosophical feeling to it for Librans, where it amplifies the air energy, the imagination energy, the way we use our thoughts, our storytelling, our ideas, how that all connects. And for you, this is going to be the way you see the world, the way you see your part in it, the way you see like the world working, and doing some workshopping on that and getting really clear. Eclipse seasons are also a time of refresh, reboot, recharge. You know, we have a couple eclipse seasons every year, so we do this on the regular, all of us, right? Nothing new there, but it is a time to, I think, recharge. And like I said, just for Libran specifically, really looking at where you want to reset your thinking around your worldview and the way you see your process. Now, I had a message that came up regarding all of this, which is, I just listed all these big things that are happening, right? Eclipse season, Mercury retrograde, we're doing all this energy in Gemini, and then of course, energy is going to be moving forward into Cancer and then even into Leo by the end of the month. So we're starting to move on from that air energy. It sounds like there's a lot going on and it's going to be confusing and muddled and overwhelming and all of that. And I'd say it's actually the opposite in many ways, especially for Librans, because the message was that, yes, this is a month of big picture energy for you all. You're going to be noticing that you're drawn to kind of thinking about the big overarching picture. But here's the thing, that it may be tempting to get into all the weird little details, spinning very complex webs in your minds where it's like, boom, 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 I'm going here, I'm going there. I'm connecting all these dots. I'm going to come up with a really complex pattern of how I'm going to get everything done. But this season, this Gemini season, this June, as we lead into the solstice, as we lead into a really powerful shift and point of intention, reflection, focus, midway through the year, this is going to be about simplifying down. And the way the message came up for me, for you, was looking straight at what you desire and letting it see you, and welcoming in that messy, vulnerable, beautiful process. And knowing that you're not going to know it all. Knowing that you're not going to be able to control it all. But knowing in the simplest terms possible what it is, Ace of Pentacles, that you are really wanting to birth into this world via you. And it doesn't have to be your dream work project. It doesn't have to be kind of the way that we've been culturally designed to think of like giving birth. Like so often when you hear that, it's like, oh, I need to come up with a new career goal, or I need to come up with a new family planning goal, or I need to come up with a new like monetization goal, basically, is I think how often these things come out, right? Nothing wrong with that if that's something that's coming up for you. Great. Awesome. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the socialized, fit into the parameters, I should say. It doesn't have to fit into the parameters of what we often think of as saying, oh, well, this is what I want to do in my life. It can seriously be like, if what you want to give birth to, what you want to bring into this life is for you to have 4 hours every morning, for you to sit in the quiet and meditate, or just knit for the fun of it, or, have more space to go on long walks, and that's what you want to birth into your life, that's awesome. And that is powerful, and that deserves your attention. Knight of Swords, hello. I like the energy coming through here. And generally speaking, actually, the energy moving through for you in June is quite constructive. It's quite clear. It's somewhat supportive of you, really. There's a lot moving around. We've got this Mercury retrograde. We've got all this energy moving through Gemini and then on into Cancer. We have Mars and Venus moving into Leo, and we have Neptune and Jupiter, who are in Pisces, starting their retrogrades this month. And it's just so much to cover. I won't be able to get all of this covered, but what I will say is that these transits are all somewhat practical in that they are having you kind of look around, assess, and figure out how you want to bring things to life. Seven of Swords. My goodness, that card just will not go away. It has been loving to pop out in general for a little while, and it does have to do with self-honesty. It does have to do with self-worth, self-value, and justice. Your card. I love it. Okay, let's talk through these energies. There's a lot of support here for you to, like I said, simplify down. Get to the roots of what it is. If I was going to ask you right now, what is it you really want in one sentence? Go. You would know what that one thing is that you want, right? Whether it's to have something resolved, to have a stable living space, to have more time to create art, to quit your job, to find a partner, to hike a certain mountain or reach a physical goal of ability, whatever it is, right? You know what it is. And that's simple. So opening your heart to that, saying, you're willing to go to the let the messy, vulnerable process in is so powerful. Now we start the month off with so much clarity, crystal clarity here. Ace of Pentacles for me is, it's such an interesting card, right? Because yes, you can look at it one way. Okay, infusions of money, infusions of health, infusions of very physical, real world things being brought to you. But when you, especially in this deck, it's this like hand coming out of the heavens, like manna from heaven. And the way that plays out for me is that we feel connected on that like unseen, invisible realm with what it is that the goods, the experience we want to have, the emotional wealth we want to have, right? And the emotional wealth we want to have. So when I'm saying, like, what is it, the one thing you really want, or the top three things, whatever it is, is it really authentically what you want? Or is it what you've been prompted to want because culture says you should want A, B, C, D, E, F, and G? I remember a few years ago, I really felt like the pressure to do like a retreat, like in some like beach inspired location, because so many of the people in like my little corner part of the world, like in the work that I do things like that. And that's great. And I thought I need to want to do retreats like that. And I kept trying to force myself to do it. So I get on calls with people, and it never felt right because it wasn't something I actually wanted to do in that way. It wasn't really what was calling me. And so it kept not working. So the first call to action that I'm seeing here, Libra, is to make sure that's why I like asking that question, what do you want? And just answer without thinking, because those are normally very true answers. That's where your focus is going to go. So just an FYI on the way that June's going to work. It's not going to work if you're trying to put a whole bunch of things on your plate that you don't actually want. Now you're also getting clarity. I mean, these cards are about clear answers coming through. A window being opened, a fresh breeze blowing in, you seeing what you need to see, understand about yourself, about anybody else around you, about the process. There's a clear view. It's no longer obstructed. So if you've been feeling like you've been in the dark wood, or you've been in the fog, or you've been in the midnight garden, or you've been in a place of not being able to see for any number of reasons, from exhaustion, from depression, from confusion, from lack of clarity, lack of decisions you're waiting for to be made, these cards kind of speak to there being like, okay, you can see. You got your answer. Now, and with that answer can come from inside. Often the call is coming from inside the house, and the call is coming from inside the house, and it's a call to be more vulnerable, and follow the thing that we really want to follow, even if it means that we don't know how to do it. Now, with that often comes the Seven of Swords feeling, which is, am I allowed? Am I just getting away with something? Am I just sneaking around? I associate this card often with imposter syndrome. And while, yes, it is about disarming the enemy via being sneaky and stealthy rather than being upfront, I think that gets manifested within in our internal dynamics and our inner family systems as us feeling unworthy of showing up and shining our light and being there in the present. So we feel we are lurking and sneaking around, and we do it to ourselves all the time when we realize what we really want, what we really want to give birth to, what we really want to create, what we really want to be in this life, what we really want to shift, where we really want to set a boundary. It's scary, and there's a part of us that wants to keep doing it in kind of this low-key, hidden way, because it's a little more, it feels a little safer, but it also feels kind of icky because we're not just letting ourselves be who we truly are. So you're being called forward here a little bit. If there's a part of your life where you're feeling some of that sneaking around, or that dimming your light, or that kind of manipulating yourself to try and control situations, but it's not feeling very good, this is a month where that is getting reviewed. And we finally have Justice, another clear-sighted card. And yes, this is the Libran card. It is a card of decision making, choosing. And I think it's funny because 3 of your cards today are very clear. Like, there's no duality here at all. There's no, I don't know. There's a very clear yes or no kind of vibe with this. And I love that. This is not about overanalyzing. Once again, right? Like I said, started this talk with, this is not about coming up with all the complex reasons and all the complex connections and all the complex webs of why something has to stay the same, or why you feel like you're not allowed to change, or why you feel like you have to keep working the job, or you have to keep seeing the person, or you have to keep doing your art the same way, or you have to like keep living your, we can come up, our brains are so fast at coming up, our minds are so fast at coming up with all the reasons that, well, yeah, I would like something to change, but I can't because A, B, C, D, E, F, G through Z. Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and Justice are like, but what is it that you want? Oh, you want that creative space that you can go to and you can paint every day or 5 days a week? That's what you want? Okay, great, done. That is what you want. Just having that resolve, just having that clarity of mind, just choosing and averring that that is what we want clears so much clutter up. It's not complicated. It's not a messy tangle of woven webs and ideas and this and that. I was listening to a podcast called the Huberman Lab. It's really great. It's by a neurobiologist, I believe, an ophthalmologist, and he was talking about dreaming and what dreaming does for us on like a brain state level, as far as like making new neural pathways and all of that. And he was saying that actually a lot of our REM sleep cycle, the second half of the night, have to do with unlearning, getting rid of unnecessary connections and unnecessary information that we don't need, because otherwise we're living in an overly connected, that chair is connected to a scent, and that scent is connected to a stressful walk across the street. We don't need all of that. And I thought about that because so often we want to put everything together. We want to have like this complex puzzle that we've put together, and because we feel like in understanding that complexity in the web and how it's all interlocking, we'll then somehow know what to do next. And it made me realize, like, so often when we want to do that, which, believe me, I often want to put the web together. I want to put that puzzle together. But when we do that, we're actually using up tons of energy, feeling more fractured, more frazzled. So what we really want to be doing is getting to the heart of something without all of that bopping and weaving and all of that. And that's kind of the message that came through for me, for Librans, is that, you know, honestly, what it is that your heart is calling for is it's simple in the sense that you know what it is. And right there, so much power comes from that. So I want you to kind of dedicate June to being honest with yourself about what those things are. And it can be, you know, it doesn't have to just be one thing. It can be a number of things that you'd like to see shift in your life, whether, you know, and everybody's going to have a different list, right? Really get honest with yourself. Really take some time every day to notice what those are, to notice what feels right for you, and let yourself start dreaming of ways to make pivots toward that. Period. That's it. It's that simple. We don't need to live a Seven of Swords life ever. I'm going to be offering a ton of extra support over on my Patreon. So if you're looking for some guidance, some connection, a safe space to come and recharge, I would love to see you on Patreon. We have an amazing little community over there. I'll leave the link below. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on our Etsy shop, and you can find me on Instagram and on my website. I would love to see you in all of those places, my dear friends. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how you're doing this powerful June, and I will talk to you all very soon.